December 21st, 1939, -40 degrees Celsius, the Kolar River, Finland. Colonel Konstantin Volkov raises his binoculars. His breath crystallizes instantly in the frozen air. Through the lenses he scans the tree line across the frozen river. Snow covers everything. The forest ahead looks empty, silent, dead. His intelligence officer stands beside him, stamping his feet against the cold. "Sir, our forward scouts report minimal activity. Perhaps 20 to 30 Finnish defenders in this sector. Maybe less." Volkov nods slowly. He's studied the maps. He knows the terrain. His regiment numbers 4,200 soldiers, artillery support, armoured vehicles. The mathematics are simple. Overwhelming force against scattered resistance. How long to secure the eastern ridge? 3 hours, sir. 4 at most. Volkov lowers the binoculars. 3 hours. By nightfall, they'll control this sector. By week's end, they'll be in Helsinki. Stalin himself said the campaign would last 2 weeks. The colonel has no reason to doubt this assessment. What Konstantin Volkov doesn't know, what he cannot possibly know, is that one man is watching him right now. A farmer, 34 years old, 5 foot 3 inches tall. This farmer has never attended military academy. He carries no formal rank beyond private. He's using a rifle manufactured before the Great War. And in the past 21 days, this farmer has killed 47 Soviet soldiers. In 79 more days, that number will reach 505. His name is Alexei Vertinen. The Soviets will call him Valkoinen Kuolema, the White Death. But on this frozen morning in December, he is simply a hunter. Patient, invisible, waiting. This is the story of how one man's refusal to follow military doctrine created the most lethal sniper record in history. And the technique he used violated everything professional soldiers believed about warfare. To understand what Alexei Vertinen became, you must first understand what made him. WWII, Finland. Winter, 1918. The boy is 13 years old. His name is Alexei Vertinen. His hands are numb with cold. His mother, Karina, stands in the doorway of their small farmhouse. Behind her, his 2 younger brothers watch with wide eyes. Outside, snow falls steadily. It's been falling for 3 days. Karina holds out her hand. In her palm, 4 brass cartridges. They catch the dim light from the oil lamp inside. "This is all we have," she says. Her voice is steady, but Alexei hears the fear underneath. "Your father's rifle. 4 rounds. Winter is 6 months long, Alexei." The boy looks at the cartridges, then at his mother's face. His father, Juhani, died 3 weeks ago. The Finnish Civil War took him like it took thousands of others. No body recovered. No funeral. Just absence. Now it's January. The food cellar is nearly empty. 2 sacks of potatoes, some dried fish. Not enough. "We need meat," Karina continues. 4 shots is what we have. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Alexei understands. 4 shots. Maybe 4 rabbits if he's perfect. Maybe 3 if he's good. Maybe less if he's ordinary. And ordinary means his brothers go hungry. Ordinary means his mother makes impossible choices. He takes the cartridges. They're cold and heavy in his hand. "1 shot, 1 kill," his mother says. "Your father taught you. Waste nothing." Alexei walks into the forest alone. The rifle is too big for him. His father's Mosin Nagant, already old when Juhani carried it. The boy has fired it maybe 20 times in his life. Never at living animals, always at targets, tin cans, marks on trees. Now he's hunting for survival. The forest is silent under fresh snow. Alexei moves slowly. His father taught him that much. Patience, observation, don't rush. 3 hours pass. His feet are numb. His fingers ache. Then he sees movement. A rabbit 30 meters away near a fallen birch. Alexei raises the rifle. The iron sights are simple. 2 metal posts. He aligns them with the rabbit's head. The animal is still unaware. 1 shot, 1 kill. He exhales slowly, squeezes the trigger. The crack of the rifle shatters the silence. The rabbit drops. By sunset, Alexei returns home. 4 shots fired. 4 rabbits in his game bag. His mother cries when she sees them. Not from sadness, from relief. That night, eating thin rabbit stew, Alexei makes a promise to himself. He will never waste a shot. Ever. Every pull of the trigger must mean something. Must provide. Must protect. He doesn't know it yet, but this lesson will define his life. And in 21 years, it will define his war. WWII, 1930 to 1939. Alexei Vertinen grows up. The farmhouse remains small. The winters remain long. But he becomes a master of the forest. 20 years of hunting, squirrels, grouse, hare, sometimes fox, He learns every ridge, every hollow, every game trail within 15 kilometers. He learns patience the way other men learn trades, sitting motionless for hours, reading tracks in snow, understanding wind direction, light angles, animal behavior. He never uses a telescopic scope, iron sights only. What he can't see clearly, he doesn't shoot. His rule is simple: if the target is too far for iron sights, it's too far to guarantee a clean kill, and a wounded animal is a wasted shot. 1930. He marries Helena Nieminen, a practical woman, strong. She understands the demands of farm life, understands silence. Alexei is not a man of many words. Helena doesn't need them. 1931. Their son is born. They name him Tuomas. The boy grows up watching his father disappear into the forest before dawn, return after dark, sometimes with game, sometimes empty-handed, but never apologetic. The forest provides or it doesn't. You accept both. By 1939, Alexei has fired perhaps 10,000 rounds in his life, almost all at living targets. His accuracy is remarkable, though he never speaks of it. In his mind, accuracy is simply not missing, and missing is wasteful. November 1939. Helena is 5 months pregnant with their second child. Tuomas is 8 years old. The farm is ready for winter. Then the radio brings news. The Soviet Union has invaded Finland. November 30th, 1939. Day 1. The conscription notice arrives by military courier. Alexei is to report to his old unit immediately. 6th Company Jaeger Regiment 34. He served his mandatory 2 years a decade ago. Now they're calling everyone back. He packs simply. Extra socks, a spare shirt, his hunting knife. The old Mosin Nagant stays. He'll be issued a military rifle. The goodbye is brief. In the kitchen, Helena holds Tuomas. The boy is trying not to cry. "Will you come back?" Tuomas asks. Alexei kneels down, looks his son in the eyes. "I will try," he says. Honesty over comfort. "You're the man of the house now. Take care of your mother." Tuomas nods. Alexei stands. Helena is watching him. "Will you come back the same man?" she asks quietly. It's a different question than Tuomas asked. Alexei understands this. She's not asking if he'll survive. She's asking if war will change him, if the man who leaves will be the man who returns. "I don't know what I'll become," Alexei says. It's the truth. He's killed thousands of animals. He's never killed a man. He doesn't know if he can, doesn't know what it will do to him if he does. Helena steps forward, kisses him once, brief, final. "Come home," she whispers. Alexei walks out into the November cold. He doesn't look back. Looking back makes leaving harder. The war has started. He doesn't know it will last 100 days, doesn't know what role he'll play, doesn't know that his name will be whispered in fear across Soviet command posts. He only knows he must survive, must return, must protect what he loves. Kolar River Sector, December 1939. The Kolar River is frozen solid, ice nearly a metre thick. On the Finnish side, scattered defensive positions, trenches, log bunkers, machine gun nests hidden in tree lines. On the Soviet side, thousands of soldiers, artillery, tanks, the weight of an empire preparing to crush a small nation. Alexei arrives December 1st, day 2 of the war. He's assigned to 6th Company under Lieutenant Lauri Toivonen, a young officer with sharp eyes and a tactical mind. The company numbers 93 men. They're responsible for defending 3 kilometers of river frontage. The mathematics are absurd. But Lieutenant Toivonen doesn't speak of impossibility. He speaks of terrain, of advantage, of making the enemy pay for every meter. "Vertanen," he says during the first briefing. "You're marked as a hunter. Marksman's scores from your mandatory service show expert qualification." "Yes, sir." "You'll be deployed as a sniper. We need to disrupt their command structure. Officers, radio operators, machine gunners. Make them afraid to lead." Alexei nods. This makes sense. Pick off key targets. Create confusion. It's not so different from hunting. Identify the threat. Eliminate it efficiently. He's issued a standard military Mosin Nagant, the Model 2830. It's older than the one he used hunting. Heavier, but functional. The iron sights are simple, familiar, good. Another sniper approaches. Corporal Sakari Leto, 23 years old, energetic, proud. "Vertanen right, they say you're a hunter." "I am." Sakari grins, opens his pack. Inside a pristine telescopic sight, Soviet-made, captured from a forward position. Look at this beauty. 4-power magnification. I can put a round through an eye socket at 300 meters. You should get one. Makes all the difference. Alexei looks at the scope, shakes his head. "I'll stay with iron sights." Sakari laughs. "Your choice, old man. But don't blame me when you're outranged. The first week passes in probing attacks. Soviet patrols test the Finnish defences. Small firefights, artillery exchanges, both sides learning the terrain, learning each other. Alexei takes his first shot. December 3rd. Day 4. A Soviet officer directing troops across an open field. Distance 87 meters. Alexei settles into a shallow snow pit. Aligns the iron sights. The officer is pointing shouting orders. One breath. Exhale. Squeeze. The rifle cracks. The officer drops. Alexei doesn't feel triumph. Doesn't feel horror. Feels only confirmation. The shot worked. The technique transferred from rabbit to man. One target, one round, no waste. He crawls backward, relocates 200 meters north. Soviet return fire hits empty snow where he'd been. By December 20th, Alexei has killed 47 Soviet soldiers. He keeps no written count, simply remembers. Each shot is distinct in his memory, each face, each target. But other Finnish snipers are dying. December 12th, day 13. Sniper Vilho Manninen. Experienced hunter from Lapland. He's using a captured Soviet scope, sets up position at dawn. The sun rises behind him low on the horizon. Light hits the scope lens. Just a flash. A tiny glint of reflected light. A Soviet counter-sniper sees it. 290 meters away. Calculates. Fires. Vilho dies instantly. Bullet through the skull. Alexei is 300 meters away. Hears the shot. Sees Finnish soldiers recover Vilho's body. Sees the scope still attached to the rifle. Shattered glass. He says nothing, but he notes the lesson. Glass reflects light. Light reveals position. Position means death. December 16th, day 17. Zachary Leto, the young corporal with the beautiful Soviet scope. He's in position before dawn. Temperature -38 Celsius. Zachary settles in, waits for targets. The problem: breath. At -38, moisture in your breath condenses instantly, creates visible fog. When you're using a scope, your face is higher. The breath rises directly into your sight picture, creates a cloud above your position. A Soviet observer spots it. 500 meters away, calls in the position. A sniper team moves into flanking position. Zachary never sees them. He's focused downrange through his scope, watching for targets. The Soviet round hits him in the temple. He's dead before the sound reaches his ears. Alexei watches from his own position, sees the breath fog that gave Zachary away, sees the shot that ended him. Understands. Scopes are beautiful. Scopes are deadly. Deadly to the enemy. Deadlier to the user. December 19th, day 20. Sniper, Antti Koskinen. Good soldier. Capable marksman. He's using a scope because that's doctrine. That's what snipers are supposed to use. The problem: profile height. To use a scope effectively, your eye must be several centimeters behind the lens. This means raising your head, creating a silhouette. In snow, where everything is white and flat, any vertical shape stands out. Antti makes the mistake of shifting position during daylight. For just a moment, his head rises above the snow berm. His profile breaks the horizon line. A Soviet sniper is watching, has been watching for 2 hours, waiting for exactly this mistake. One shot. Antti dies. 3 snipers in 8 days, all using scopes. All dead because of scope-related signatures: glint, fog, profile. Alexei sits in the company bunker that night, cleaning his rifle. Lieutenant Toivonen enters with a wooden crate. Inside, 4 captured Soviet scopes. High quality. Precision optics. Virtanen, I'm issuing these to our remaining snipers. You're to receive one. It'll increase your effective range significantly. Alexei looks at the scope, looks at the lieutenant. Respectfully, sir. No. Toivonen's face hardens. That's not a request, Private. That's an order.
I watched 3 men die because of scopes, sir. Vilho, Zachary, Antti. The scopes gave them away. I'll stay with iron sights. You'll be outranged. The Soviets have scoped rifles. You'll be at a disadvantage. Alexei meets his eyes. Steady, calm. Better outranged than dead, sir. I've killed 47 of them in 20 days with iron sights. I know what works for me. The bunker is silent. Other soldiers watch. This is insubordination, refusing a direct order.
Toivonen could have him court-martialed. The lieutenant studies Alexei, sees something there. Certainty. Not arrogance, not fear, just absolute conviction. Finally, Toivonen nods. Your responsibility then, Virtanen. You miss a critical shot because you couldn't see the target that's on you. Yes, sir. Alexei returns to cleaning his rifle. Iron sights only. No glass, no glint, no fog, no elevated profile. He's made his choice. Broken doctrine.
Rejected modern technology in favor of simple, proven methods. It's December 20th, day 21. Tomorrow, Colonel Konstantin Volkov will scan the forest and see nothing. Tomorrow, Alexei will kill 11 more Soviet soldiers. Tomorrow, the real war begins. But tonight, Alexei writes a letter he cannot send. The postal service is disrupted. No mail gets through. Still he writes. To Helena, to Tuomas. The words are simple. I have learned that survival means becoming invisible. The forest taught me to wait, to watch, to strike only when certain. War is the same. I do not know if I will return. But if I do not know that I thought of you with every breath, every shot, every moment, this is not glory. This is only necessity. I love you. I will try to come home. He folds the letter, places it in his pack, knows he may never send it, may never need to, or may need to more than anything. Outside, the temperature drops to -41, the coldest night yet. Somewhere across the frozen river, 4,000 Soviet soldiers prepare for tomorrow's assault. They have artillery, they have tanks, they have overwhelming numbers. They do not have Alexei Vertinen, not yet. But soon they will know his work, will fear the silence between shots, will die without ever seeing the hunter. The White Death is not yet born, but the farmer who will become him lies down to sleep, his rifle beside him, his promise to his family carved into his heart. One shot, one kill, waste nothing. Tomorrow the mathematics of war will begin to shift. One farmer against an empire, iron sights against ideology, patience against power. December 21st dawns cold and clear. Colonel Volkov raises his binoculars, sees empty forest. He has no idea what's watching back. December 21st, 1939, day 22. 4:30 in the morning. Alexei Vertinen wakes in darkness. The dugout shelter smells of earth and frozen canvas. Temperature outside -40 Celsius, inside perhaps -30. His breath forms ice crystals on the wool blanket. He doesn't light a fire, hasn't lit one since the war began. Smoke rises. Smoke is visible. Visible means dead. Breakfast is a piece of dried fish, hard as wood. He chews slowly, methodically. His body needs fuel. The cold devours calories. Last week, a Finnish soldier froze to death in his sleep, simply ran out of energy. The body shut down. Alexei eats, forces himself, drinks melted snow from his canteen. The water is so cold it hurts his teeth. 4:45. He performs maintenance on his rifle, works by touch in the darkness, checks the bolt action, smooth, no ice, verifies the iron sights are aligned. They are. This rifle is his life. He treats it accordingly. 5:30. First hint of dawn, grey light filtering through the forest. Alexei moves. He's wearing white winter camouflage, a snow smock over his uniform, white trousers, white hood. Against the snow, he's nearly invisible. Movement is what betrays you. So he moves like ice melts, slowly, inevitably, patient. His chosen position is 400 meters forward of the Finnish defensive line, a natural depression behind a fallen birch. He scouted this location 3 days ago, memorized the approach. The sight lines, the escape routes. The approach takes 57 minutes, 400 meters in nearly an hour. Normal soldiers would rush, speed over stealth, but Alexei learned patience from winter hunting. Rabbits don't appear on your schedule, you wait on theirs. 7:03. He reaches the position, settles in. The fallen birch provides cover. Snow has drifted against it. Natural, undisturbed. Alexei begins his preparation. First he compacts the snow in front of him. Uses his gloved hands to pack it solid. Loose snow kicked up by muzzle blast creates a visible cloud, a signature. Compacted snow prevents this. Second, he arranges his body to minimize profile. Lies prone. The rifle barrel extends just centimeters beyond the birch. His head is low, eye barely above the iron sights. Third, the critical adaptation. He scoops fresh snow into his mouth, lets it sit on his tongue. The cold is agonizing, but when he exhales, the moisture in his breath hits the snow first. The snow absorbs the water vapor. The fog is reduced, dramatically. Not eliminated, but enough. The cloud stays lower, below his sight line, not rising above his position like a signal flare. Fourth, he memorizes his kill zones. Alexei has studied this area for 3 days, knows the exact distances. 71 meters to that birch, 82 meters to the boulder, 97 meters to the trail junction. When a target enters these zones, he knows the range. No calculation needed, just muscle memory, point and shoot. 7:20, position established. Now he waits. The forest is silent. Wind moves through the pines. Snow falls occasionally from overladen branches.
Small sounds, natural sounds. Alexei becomes part of them. His breathing slows, his heartbeat steadies. He's not a soldier in this moment. He's a hunter, and the forest is his. 9:14. Movement. Soviet patrol. 8 men. Walking in a loose column along the trail. They're talking. Alexei can hear voices carrying in the frozen air. They're not expecting contact. This sector has been quiet. Quiet because Alexei killed the last patrol 3 days ago, from a completely different position, 2 kilometers south. He watches them approach. Doesn't move. Doesn't shift his aim. Just observes. The lead scout passes. Young, maybe 20. Carries his rifle carelessly. The second man, older. Alert. NCO, probably. Third man. Fourth man. Alexei focuses on the fourth man. Walks differently. More confidence. Slightly better equipment. Officers often position themselves in the middle of patrols, protected by forward and rear security. The fourth man steps into Alexei's predetermined kill zone. 71 meters. The birch tree. Alexei has taken this exact shot in practice. Knows the hold, knows the wind, knows the cold affects the ballistics. One breath. Exhale slowly. The iron sights settle on the target's center mass. Not the head. Center mass. Larger target. More certain. Squeeze. The shot cracks through the frozen air. Sharp. Final. The fourth man drops. Instantly. No delay. The 7.62mm round hits him in the chest, punches through ribs, destroys the heart. He's dead before his knees buckle. The other Soviet soldiers scatter, diving for cover, confused. Where did the shot come from? They look in wrong directions, fire wildly into the forest. Bullets snap through branches, hit nothing. Alexei is already moving, crawling backward, low, slow. Doesn't wait to confirm the kill, knows it connected, felt it. After 20 years of hunting, you know. He crawls 30 meters, finds a prepared secondary position, a slight rise behind dense pine cover, settles in again, watches. The Soviets are panicking, shouting, calling for their officer. He doesn't respond, can't respond. One of them runs to the fallen man, checks for pulse, finds none. Screams for a medic. 20 minutes later, artillery arrives. Soviet guns pound the area where they think the sniper was hiding. Shells explode in the forest. Trees shatter. Snow erupts in great fountains. Alexei is 150 meters away, watching the artillery fall on empty positions, watching them waste ammunition on ghosts. 2:17 in the afternoon. 3 Soviet soldiers appear, moving quickly, carrying ammunition crates, not in tactical formation, scared. Trying to get through the dangerous zone fast. Mistake. Alexei has relocated again. Third position of the day. A shallow crater from yesterday's artillery. They blasted it themselves, never thinking a sniper would use their own crater as cover. The 3 soldiers approach. Distance 84 meters, moving fast. No cover between them and Alexei. He targets the lead man, waits until they're in the open. No retreat available. One shot. The lead soldier drops. The ammunition crate crashes into the snow. The other 2 freeze. Fatal hesitation. Should run, should dive, should do anything but stand still. Alexei fires again. Second man down. The third soldier finally reacts, turns, runs, disappears into the trees. Alexei doesn't take the third shot. 2 targets down. Ammunition crate abandoned. Mission accomplished. No need to risk revealing his position further. He withdraws, crawls backward, relocates, always moving, never static. Soviet doctrine is to call artillery on sniper positions. He learned this fast. Shoot and move, constant repositioning, exhausting. But it keeps you alive. By nightfall, Alexei has fired 11 shots, 11 Soviet soldiers dead. No misses, no wasted ammunition. He returns to finish lines. Lieutenant Toivonen meets him. Vertinen, Soviet patrols reported heavy sniper activity in your sector. Body count. 11 confirmed, sir. Toivonen nods, doesn't smile, doesn't congratulate. This isn't sport. This is mathematics. 11 enemy soldiers removed from the equation. 11 fewer rifles aimed at Finnish positions. Get some rest. Same sector tomorrow. Yes, sir. Alexei eats. Thin soup, black bread, cleans his rifle, sleeps. Day 22 complete. Cumulative kills 58. The war is 3 weeks old. It will last 11 more weeks. The Soviets don't know his name yet, don't know it's one man. They think it's a team, a rotation of expert snipers. No single soldier could maintain this kill rate. Impossible. But Alexei isn't a soldier. He's a hunter. And he's hunting to survive. 25 days pass. Christmas comes and goes. No celebration, no ceasefire, just cold and death and silence. January 15th, 1940. Day 47. The kill count has reached 164. Alexei doesn't keep written records, doesn't mark tallies on his rifle, just remembers each shot, each target, each face through the iron sights. Soviet casualties in the Kolar sector have reached levels that concern Moscow. Reports flow up the chain of command. A sector that should have fallen in days is held for 6 weeks. Finnish snipers are inflicting disproportionate casualties. Officers are dying, radio operators, machine gunners. The precise targeting suggests expert marksmen, plural, multiple snipers operating in coordinated teams. At least that's what Soviet intelligence believes. The response is inevitable. Moscow sends specialists. Sergeant Grigory Petrov arrives January 14th, day 46. He brings 8 men with him, all expert snipers, all veterans. Grigory himself has 73 confirmed kills from the Spanish Civil War, 1937 to 38, fighting for the Republicans against Franco's forces. He survived that war, learned his craft in the mountains of Catalonia. Now he's in Finland, hunting Finnish hunters. Colonel Volkov briefs him personally. Sergeant Petrov, welcome to Kolar. Your mission is simple. We have estimated 5 to 7 expert snipers operating in this sector. They're disrupting our advances, killing our officers, creating fear among the troops. I need them eliminated. Grigory studies the maps, plots the kill sites, calculates angles, ranges, patterns. How long have they been active? 6 weeks, approximately. Casualty count attributed to sniper fire. Volkov hesitates, checks his reports. Over 200. Grigory's eyebrows rise. 200 in 6 weeks, from 5 to 7 snipers. That's impressive. 30 kills per sniper, in winter conditions, against an enemy that knows you're hunting them. I'll need 2 weeks, Grigory says. Maybe 3. We'll flush them out, eliminate them one by one. Volkov nods. You have whatever resources you need. This is priority. January 15th, day 47. Grigory sets his trap. He's studied the kill patterns, identified a likely position, a ridge overlooking a supply route. If he were a Finnish sniper, he'd use this position. Perfect sight lines, multiple escape routes, natural cover. He places his 8 men in a careful ambush. 3 positions covering the ridge, overlapping fields of fire. If a Finnish sniper appears, they'll triangulate. Pin him down, kill him. Then they wait. 380 meters away, Alexei Vertinin observes. He's not on the ridge. He's watching the ridge. And he sees the trap, sees it clearly. The signs are subtle, boot tracks in wrong patterns. Too many tracks converging on the ridge. Soviet patrols don't move that way. Too coordinated, too purposeful. This is a setup. Alexei settles into his observation position, a hollow behind a granite outcrop, invisible. He watches the ridge through his iron sights, waits. 11 hours pass. Temperature drops to -43°C. Most men would abandon the position, seek shelter. But Alexei learned patience from his mother. 4 bullets, 6 months. You wait as long as necessary. 4:17 in the afternoon. The light is fading. The Soviet ambush team begins to withdraw. They've waited all day. No Finnish sniper appeared. The trap failed. They move carefully at first, then faster, eager to return to warmth, to food, to shelter. Alexei watches the rear guard, a single soldier, covering the withdrawal. Standard doctrine. The man moves along the ridge, pauses, scans the forest one last time. Distance 217 meters. Long for iron sights, but possible. Alexei has made longer shots. He accounts for wind, for cold, for the slight downward angle. Adjusts his aim. 2 inches high, 1 inch left, 1 breath. Exhale. Squeeze. The shot flies true. The rearguard soldier drops, dead before he hits the snow. The other Soviet soldiers scatter. Confusion. Where did that come from? They were watching the ridge. The Finnish sniper is supposed to be on the ridge, but the shot came from behind them, below them. They never see Alexei. He's already withdrawing, moving through the forest like smoke. No tracks, no trace. Grigory Petrov finds the body 30 minutes later, studies the wound. Single shot, head, clean, precise. Distance estimated at over 200 meters. He looks at the kill site, then at the ambush positions, realizes. The Finnish sniper was watching them the entire time, waited until they withdrew, then struck. Grigory kneels in the snow, thinks. This changes things. This isn't a team of snipers taking turns. This is something else. Someone who can wait 11 hours in -43 degrees. Someone who can make a 200-meter shot with precision. Someone who knew the ambush was there and simply waited for it to fail. Who is this? Grigory whispers to the frozen air.
Over the next 3 days, Alexei kills 3 more of Grigory's team. Each time differently. Each time from unexpected positions. Each time vanishing before Soviet forces can respond. January 18th. Day 50. 4 of Grigory's 8 men are dead. The survivors are afraid. They're the best. Veterans. Expert shots. And they're being hunted by something they can't see, can't predict, can't kill. That night, Grigory studies every detail, every kill site, every shot, the patterns, the methods. And he realizes the truth. No scope glint ever reported. Not once. No breath fog sightings. Soviet observers have watched for these signatures, trained to spot them. Nothing. All shots under 200 meters, most under 100, close range for sniper work. Why? Because without a scope, long range is difficult, especially with iron sights. Position discipline perfect, every kill from a different location, never the same spot twice.
Soviet artillery has pounded dozens of suspected positions, never hit the sniper, not once. It's not a team, Grigory says aloud. His remaining men look at him. Sir, it's one man, one sniper, operating alone, no scope, iron sights only. That's why we never see glint, never see breath fog above the sight line. He's staying low, invisible. His men exchange glances.
One man killed 4 of their team, killed over 100 Soviet soldiers in 7 weeks.
That's impossible, one says. Grigory shakes his head, studies the map, traces the kill sites. No, it's genius. He's rejected modern doctrine, gone back to basic hunting principles, and it's working. Silence in the bunker. Outside, the temperature drops to -45, the coldest night of the winter. Grigory makes a decision, reports to Colonel Volkov.
Sir, I request permission to continue the mission with reduced personnel.
Volkov frowns. Reduced, Sergeant, you've lost half your team. I should pull you out. Send reinforcements. No, sir, respectfully. This isn't a numbers problem. This is one Finnish sniper. Exceptional skill. I need to hunt him alone. A large team is too visible, too predictable. I need to think like him, hunt like him. Volkov considers. This is irregular, but nothing about Kolar has been regular.
1 month, Sergeant. If you haven't eliminated this sniper in 1 month, I'm withdrawing you. Understood?
Yes, sir. Bring me his weapon when you kill him. Yes, sir. Grigory Petrov becomes a hunter of hunters. Personal. Obsessive. This isn't duty anymore. This is pride. Professional pride. He's one of the best snipers in the Red Army. And somewhere in these frozen forests, a Finnish farmer with iron sights is making him look ordinary. Unacceptable. The hunt intensifies.
February 14th, 1940. Day 77. Alexei's kill count has reached 312. The numbers are staggering. Impossible to verify if they weren't witnessed by other Finnish soldiers. Lieutenant Toivonen keeps careful records now. Other soldiers confirm the shots, the bodies, the results. 312 Soviet soldiers. 77 days. An average of 4 per day. Sustained. In winter. Against an enemy actively hunting him.
But the toll is showing. Alexei is thinner. Exhausted. Sleep deprivation. Constant stress. The weight of 312 deaths. He still writes letters he cannot send. To Helena. To Tuomas. The words are darker now. I have become something I don't recognize. A machine that kills. Efficient. Precise. Empty. I see their faces. Every one. When I sleep, they wait for me. Young men. Frightened men. Men who wanted to go home. I tell myself this is necessary. Defense. Protection.
But the ghosts don't care about justification. They simply accumulate.
February 14th. Grigory Petrov has studied Alexei's patterns for 4 weeks. Learned them, memorized them, predicted them. He's found several positions Alexei uses regularly. Not frequently, but occasionally. Rotation sites in a larger pattern. Grigory selects one. A depression near a frozen stream. Good sight lines towards Soviet supply routes. Natural cover.
Alexei has used this position 3 times in the past month, not on any schedule, but periodically.
Grigory sets a mine. Pressure triggered. Covers it with fresh snow. Makes it invisible. Then withdraws. Waits. 2 days later, Alexei approaches the position. He's low on ammunition. Cached supplies in several locations. This position has a small store. 20 rounds. Hidden beneath a flat stone. He moves carefully. Always careful. Scans for tracks. For disturbances. For anything wrong.
Something feels off. He can't identify what. Just instinct. Hunter's instinct. The forest feels wrong, smells wrong. Some subtle detail his conscious mind hasn't processed, but his subconscious recognizes. He stops, 30 meters from the cache, studies the area. There, the snow. Fresh snowfall 2 nights ago, 6 centimeters. But around the cache site, the snow sits differently, slightly compacted, then refluffed. Someone tried to make it look natural, almost succeeded. Alexei freezes. Doesn't move, barely breathes. Trap. This is a trap. He begins backing away, slow, careful. 1 step, 2 steps. The mine detonates, not under him, he's too far away. But shrapnel sprays outward, fragments of metal tear through the air. One piece catches his left shoulder, punches through the winter coat, through muscle, lodges against bone. Alexei gasps. Pain explodes through his arm. Hot, sharp, the first time he's been wounded in 77 days of war. He doesn't stop moving.
Ignores the pain, crawls away from the blast site, into cover, behind a fallen tree, checks the wound, blood soaking through his coat. Not arterial, not immediately fatal, but bad. Needs treatment. He applies pressure, wraps it with a spare cloth. Crude field dressing. It will have to do. 400 meters away, Grigory Petrov hears the explosion. Smiles grimly. Got him. Maybe not killed, but wounded at least. The ghost bleeds. The ghost is human. Alexei makes it back to finish lines.
90 minutes of crawling, leaving a blood trail. Medics treat him. The shrapnel is removed, the wound cleaned, stitched.
Lieutenant Toivonen visits. You need rest, Virtanen. Medical leave, at least a week. Alexei shakes his head. 2 days. I'll take 2 days. You're wounded. I can still shoot, still see, still think. 2 days. Toivonen sighs. Knows arguing is pointless. This man is driven by something beyond duty, something deeper. Fine, 2 days. Then you're back on rotation. That night a letter reaches Alexei, smuggled through the lines. Civilians fleeing the advance. From Helena. The paper is worn. Creased. She wrote it 3 weeks ago. It took this long to find him. Alexei, Soviet patrols are 35 kilometers from WWII. We have evacuated. Thomas and I are safe in Viipuri. The baby is due in April. I pray you're alive to meet her. Thomas asks about you every day. I don't know what to tell him. Come home. Please. Whatever you've become, come home.
Alexei reads it 3 times, folds it carefully, places it with his other unsent letters. 35 kilometers. Close. Too close. The line is holding, but barely. If Kolar falls, the road to WWII opens. His home, his land, his family's future. This isn't about Finland anymore. Not about duty. It's about meters. About holding ground. About keeping Soviet soldiers away from a farmhouse where his son grew up, where his mother survived with 4 bullets, where everything he loves exists. Alexei's motivation changes, shifts, hardens. Before he fought because he was ordered to. Now he fights because 35 kilometers is too close. February 23rd, 1940, day 86. Alexei is back in position, shoulder still healing, range of motion limited, but functional. He can shoot. That's enough. At Finnish High Command, Lieutenant Toivonen's reports have reached the generals. They're studying this Alexei Virtanen, studying his technique, his results, his survival. A decision is made, an official directive issued. All Finnish snipers operating in extreme cold weather conditions remove telescopic sights, revert to iron sight targeting, prioritize invisibility over range, reference Virtanen method, effective immediately. The directive reaches 19 Finnish snipers across the Kolar sector. Some resist. Scopes are modern, accurate, but the order is clear, and Alexei's results speak for themselves. 312 confirmed kills, 0 casualties from counter-sniper fire. The man is invisible because he eliminated every signature. 19 snipers remove their scopes, train with iron sights, learn position discipline, learn the snow-in-mouth technique, learn to move constantly, never settle, never become predictable. The effect is immediate. Soviet casualties spike. Sniper paralysis spreads through the Red Army units. Soldiers refuse to move during daylight.
Patrols must be ordered under threat of punishment. Officers struggle to maintain offensive operations because their troops are terrified of invisible death. The Kolar sector, which Soviet commanders expected to overrun in 3 days, has held for 86 days. Finnish defenders outnumbered 8-1 inflict casualties at a ratio of 12-1. Much of this success comes from the psychological impact, the fear, the uncertainty. The knowledge that any moment, anywhere, death can arrive unannounced. Alexei trains 4 snipers personally, sits with them in the forest, teaches them. Position discipline over precision. You don't need to make impossible shots. You need to make certain shots and survive. Dead heroes don't defend anything. Invisible beats accurate. A miss from an invisible position is better than a hit that reveals you. The enemy can't kill what they can't find. Move after 3 shots. No exceptions. I don't care if you have perfect cover. I don't care if you think you're safe. 3 shots, then relocate. Soviet artillery will find you eventually if you stay static. The 4 students listen, learn, survive. Between them, they account for 63 more Soviet casualties over the next 2 weeks. The mathematics of war are shifting. What should have been a simple advance has become a nightmare. Soviet soldiers whisper about White Death, the ghost who kills from nowhere, who sees everything, who never misses, who cannot be killed. They don't know White Death is a 34-year-old farmer who learned to shoot because his mother gave him 4 bullets. They don't know he writes letters to his son every night, don't know he's wounded, exhausted, haunted by 312 faces. They only know the fear, the uncertainty, the mathematics of sudden death. And in Moscow, in Soviet High Command, analysts study the reports from Finland. Study the failure to advance. Study the casualties. They're beginning to understand this is not going according to plan. Finland was supposed to fall in 2 weeks. It's been 12 weeks. The small nation still stands, still fights, still bleeds the Soviet Union. And in the Kolar sector, 1 farmer with iron sights has killed 312 Soviet soldiers, trained 19 more to do the same, created a defensive doctrine that's spreading across Finnish lines. The war continues. The cold deepens. The death toll rises. But the line holds. And Alexei Vertinen, invisible hunter ghost soldier, hunted man, prepares for tomorrow. 313 awaits. 314. More. Always more. Until the mathematics finally change. Until the war ends. Until he can go home. If home still exists. If he still exists. If anything survives this frozen hell except ghosts and memory and the weight of necessary killing. The snow falls. The temperature drops. The forest waits. And somewhere in that frozen silence a hunter watches. Patient. Invisible. Deadly. The White Death lives. March 5th, 1940. Day 97. Grigory Petrov has not slept in 31 hours. His eyes are red. His hands shake from exhaustion and cold, but his mind is sharp, focused. He's spent 19 days studying one man, learning him, predicting him. Alexei Vertinen, the ghost, White Death, the farmer who's killed 496 Soviet soldiers. Grigory knows his name now. Finnish prisoners talked, not willingly, but eventually. They spoke of the legendary sniper, the man who never misses, who appears from nowhere, who vanishes like smoke. Grigory has mapped every known kill site, plotted them on paper, studied the patterns, the distances, the timing. Most soldiers would see randomness. Grigory sees structure, preferences, habits so subtle they're almost invisible. Almost. Alexei favors natural depressions, avoids elevated positions, never shoots from the same location twice in a week. But he rotates through a larger pattern, perhaps 40 to 50 positions across a 15-kilometer sector, used cyclically, unpredictably, but not randomly. Nothing this precise is random. Grigory has identified 6 positions Alexei might use for tomorrow's Soviet offensive. 6 possibilities. He cannot cover all 6, cannot predict which one Alexei will choose, but he can force a choice, can create bait, can make one position irresistible. March 5th, evening. Grigory plants a note, written in Finnish. Acquired from a dead officer's pocket dictionary. The grammar is broken, but the message is clear. Tuomas will grow up fatherless. He places it at one of the 6 positions, a depression near a frozen stream, stakes it to a tree branch, where Alexei will see it if he scouts, when he scouts. Because Alexei always scouts positions before using them. Always. The note is both bait and weapon. Grigory knows about the son, about the family. Intelligence reports mention evacuations from WWII. Alexei's family among them, 35 kilometers from Soviet advance, close enough to threaten, close enough to worry. A professional sniper ignores emotion, focuses on mathematics, ballistics, wind, distance. Alexei has been professional for 97 days. Perfect discipline, perfect control. Grigory is betting that discipline has limits, that 496 kills, that 97 days of winter, that a wounded shoulder and exhaustion and fear for his family. That all of this has created cracks, small cracks, invisible to everyone, but present. Emotion makes you visible. Grigory learned this in Spain, watched it kill men,
Anger, fear, desperation. They alter your thinking, make you predictable, make you careless. If Alexei sees that note, he'll become angry, and anger can be exploited. March 5th, 10:30 at night. Alexei moves through the darkness, scouting tomorrow's positions. The Soviet offensive begins at dawn. Finnish intelligence confirms it. A major push. 4,000 fresh troops, artillery support, armor. The mathematics are grim. Finnish defenders are exhausted, undersupplied. They've held for 97 days through discipline and terrain advantage and sheer determination. But everything has limits. Alexei's shoulder still aches. The wound healed poorly. Infection. Fever for 3 days. He survived, barely. Lost weight he couldn't afford to lose. But he can shoot, can move, can fight. That's enough. He approaches the 4th position on his mental list. The depression near the frozen stream. Good sightlines, multiple escape routes. He's used this position twice before. 6 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. Time to rotate back. He sees the note immediately. White paper against dark bark. Unnatural. Wrong. Alexei freezes, studies it from 30 meters, doesn't approach. This is a message, left deliberately for him. He circles wide, approaches from an angle, reads the note from 15 meters away. The words are visible in the moonlight. Tuomas will grow up fatherless. Alexei's breath stops. His heart rate spikes. Tuomas, his son, 8 years old, evacuated, safe, supposedly safe. But 35 kilometers is not far. Not when armies are moving, when lines are fluid, when safety is relative. Rage builds in his chest. Hot, immediate, foreign. He's been cold for 97 days. Emotionally cold, professionally cold, necessary cold. Now heat floods through him. Someone knows his son's name. Someone is threatening his son. The professional part of his mind screams warnings. This is bait. This is manipulation. This is designed to provoke exactly this reaction. Step back. Assess. Think. But the father in him drowns out the professional. Tuomas, his boy, who asked if his father would come home, who watched him leave, who's waiting. Alexei almost steps toward the note. Almost. His foot lifts, moves forward, then stops. Training. Instinct. 20 years of hunting. Something his father told him once. Something he told Tuomas. Anger makes prey run. Running prey gets shot. Be the stone. Be still. Alexei forces himself to breathe, to think, to see. The snow around the note. Disturbed. Boot prints. Soviet boots. Not regular patrol patterns. Too deliberate. Someone placed this note carefully, recently, within the last 6 hours. Why? To provoke, to reveal, to make him emotional. Alexei backs away. Leaves the note. Doesn't touch it. Doesn't approach closer. This position is compromised. Burned. He'll use another. But the damage is done. The seed is planted. Tuomas's name in enemy hands. The threat, real or not. The fear. The anger. The emotion he suppressed for 97 days. It's loose now. Cannot be recaptured. Cannot be ignored. March 6th, 1940. Day 98. 4:30 in the morning. Alexei wakes from nightmares. Tuomas running. Soviet soldiers chasing. Alexei trying to shoot. The rifle jamming. The soldiers getting closer. Tuomas screaming. He jolts awake. Breathing hard. Covered in sweat despite the cold. It's just a dream. Tuomas is safe. Viipuri is secure. The nightmares aren't real. But the fear is real. The anger is real. And they're affecting him. Clouding his judgment. Making him visible in ways that have nothing to do with scope glint or breath fog. He performs his morning routine mechanically, eats, maintains his rifle, prepares his equipment. But his hands shake slightly, his focus wavers, his mind keeps returning to the note, to Tuomas, to the 35 kilometers. He writes a letter, another unsent message, to Helena, to Tuomas. If I don't return, I died protecting what I love. The mathematics are simple. 500 lives against 2, against 3 when the baby comes. I would trade 1,000 for you, 1,000,000. The equation is easy when the numbers have names, have faces, have futures. I love you. Tell Tuomas his father tried. He folds the letter, places it in his pack with the others. 38 now. A history of the war written in words never sent. Evidence of humanity persisting despite becoming a ghost. 7:15. Alexei is in position. Not the stream depression, a different location. A small crater, created by Soviet artillery 2 weeks ago. They blasted it themselves, creating cover for their enemy. Irony. Alexei uses it without appreciation. Just mathematics. The crater provides defilade, Soviet doctrine says, don't waste ammunition on previously shelled positions, so they won't shell this one again. Probably. He settles in, waits. The Soviet offensive begins at 8. He has 45 minutes, 7:40. Movement catches his eye. 410 meters away, a figure in Soviet winter camouflage, moving carefully, deliberately, not like regular infantry, like a hunter. Alexei watches through his iron sights. The figure stops, kneels, scans the terrain, looking for something, looking for someone, looking for Alexei. This is the counter-sniper, the one who wounded him, the one who left the note. Grigory Petrov. Alexei doesn't know the name, but he knows the skill, knows the dedication. This man has hunted him for weeks, studied him, nearly killed him. 410 meters. Extreme range for iron sights. Alexei has made longer shots, but rarely. And never while emotional, never while angry and afraid and distracted. The professional voice says, wait, let him pass. Don't take the shot. Too far, too risky. Emotion compromises accuracy. But the father's voice says this man threatened your son. This man knows Tuomas's name. This man must die. Grigory is in the open, exposed. The opportunity won't come again. Alexei makes his decision, aligns the iron sights. 410 meters, cold air, slight wind from the west. He compensates, holds high, holds left. His shoulder aches. His hands tremble minutely. His breathing is uneven. One breath, exhale. The sights settle. Not perfectly. Close, close enough. Squeeze. The shot cracks out. Alexei watches, sees it miss. High and right, 9 centimeters. The round snaps past Grigory's head. Close enough to hear, close enough to feel. Grigory drops, rolls, brings his scoped rifle up, scans, finds the source. The crater, sees movement. He fires. Through his scope. Precise. Professional. The bullet grazes Alexei's helmet. Tears through metal. Creates a furrow. The impact spins the helmet off. A second lower, and Alexei dies. Instead, the bullet cuts a deep gash across his scalp. Blood streams into his eyes. Pain explodes through his skull. Alexei drops below cover, hands shaking, vision blurred. He missed. First miss in 98 days. Emotion ruined the shot, made him visible, nearly killed him. 400 meters away, Grigory curses. His shot was perfect. Should have been fatal, but the target moved. Helmet shifted. Bullet grazed instead of penetrated. Both men retreat, wounded, frustrated, alive. Alexei crawls backward, blood soaking through his hair. He's leaving a trail, visible, must move, must relocate, must survive. He reaches a fallback position, binds his head with cloth. The bleeding slows, his hands shake. Not from cold, from realization. He let emotion dictate action, violated every principle, everything that kept him alive. But he's still here, still functional, still capable. He forces the emotion down, locks it away, becomes the ghost again. Empty, cold, effective. 8:15. The Soviet offensive begins. Artillery barrage. 30 minutes of sustained fire. Shells scream overhead. Trees explode. The earth shakes. Alexei stays low, waits. This is preparation fire. The infantry comes after. 8:47. The barrage shifts, walking deeper. The assault is beginning. Alexei raises his head, scans. Soviet infantry advancing, hundreds of them. Moving through the forest, cautious, spread out, disciplined. He begins his work. Methodical, efficient. The machine returns. The ghost operates. 9:17. First shot. Soviet officer, 103 meters, down. 9:41. Machine gunner, 91 meters, down. 10:33. Radio operator, down. 11:14. Squad leader, down. The mathematics continue. Each shot precise. Each target selected for maximum disruption. Officers, NCOs, specialists. Remove the structure. Create chaos. Alexei's count climbs. 497. 498. 499. 500. 11:47. He's fired 9 rounds since the offensive began. 9 Soviet soldiers dead. The assault in his sector has stalled. Troops pinned, afraid. Officers shouting orders that soldiers refuse to follow. Alexei aims at a Soviet lieutenant. Young, maybe 25, trying to rally his men. Distance 87 meters. Perfect range. One breath. Exhale. Squeeze. 501. The lieutenant drops. His men scatter. The assault breaks. They retreat, leave their dead, their wounded, their equipment. Alexei tracks another target. Ammunition carrier. Running. 83 meters, 502. A machine gun team, setting up, poorly concealed. One shot takes the gunner. 96 meters, 503. The loader tries to take over. Second shot. 504. A Soviet officer appears. Older, experienced. Organizing a withdrawal. Coordinating fire and movement. Professional, competent, dangerous. Alexei settles the sights. 108 meters. The officer is moving, leading, making himself a target. Final shot of the day. Number 505. One breath. Exhale. Squeeze. The officer falls. 11:53. Alexei has been in position for 4 hours and 38 minutes.
Fired 14 rounds total. 14 Soviet soldiers dead. His count stands at 505 confirmed kills. 98 days of war. Then the world changes. Soviet artillery barrage. Second wave. Not targeted. Not aimed at Alexei. Just random saturation fire. Cover the sector. Disrupt Finnish positions. Standard doctrine. Alexei hears the shells incoming, recognizes the sound. Whistling, growing louder. Close. He presses flat. Covers his head. No time to evacuate. No time to move. Just endure. The first shell impacts 40 meters away. Concussion. Dirt raining down. Second shell. 20 meters. Closer. The crater shakes. Third shell. 8 meters. Too close. The explosion is massive. Shrapnel sprays outward. Metal fragments tear through air, through snow, through flesh. Alexei feels impact. Lower jaw. The pain is beyond comprehension, beyond description, beyond endurance. An exploding shell fragment, combined with shrapnel. His jaw is destroyed, shattered. Half his face is gone. Blood fills his mouth, his throat. He cannot scream, cannot breathe properly, cannot think beyond the agony. He tries to move, cannot. Tries to reach for his rifle, cannot. His body is shutting down. Shock, blood loss, trauma. Consciousness fades. The world becomes grey, distant, cold. Alexei Vertinen falls into darkness, his blood turning white snow crimson, his rifle beside him. 505 shots fired. 505 Soviet soldiers dead. One farmer finally stopped. Not by skill, not by tactics, not by enemy competence, by random chance, by artillery fired blindly into forest, by mathematics finally shifting against him. The ghost bleeds, the ghost falls, the ghost dies, or so it seems. 400 meters away. Grigory Petrov hears the artillery, watches the impacts, sees the devastation. One of those shells landed near the crater where movement was reported, where the ghost was hunting. He waits 30 minutes, until the artillery stops, until smoke clears, then moves forward, carefully. The ghost might be dead, might be wounded, might be waiting. He reaches the crater, sees the blood, fresh, significant volume, arterial spray, head wound probably, or major body trauma, sees the trail, drag marks. Finnish soldiers evacuated someone, recently, minutes ago. Grigory kneels, studies the blood pattern, the volume, the spray. This is catastrophic injury, survivable maybe, probably not. Not with that much blood loss, not in winter, not with Finnish medical supplies stretched thin. He searches for the rifle, finds nothing. The evacuation team took everything, weapon, equipment, body, everything except blood. Grigory stands, looks at the forest, the silent trees, the falling snow already covering the blood, covering the evidence, covering the ghost. Is he dead? Grigory doesn't know. Wants to believe yes. Needs to believe yes, but cannot confirm, cannot be certain. He returns to Soviet lines, reports to Colonel Volkov. Sir, artillery strike in suspected sniper position. Significant blood evidence. Evacuation confirmed. I believe the target is dead. Volkov studies him. You believe? Yes, sir. The blood volume suggests fatal trauma, but I did not recover the body. Cannot confirm absolutely. Then we remain vigilant. Yes, sir. But Grigory knows, feels it. The hunt is over. The ghost is gone. Dead or dying. The White Death has fallen. That night he writes in his journal. March 6th. Artillery engaged, suspected position. Blood evidence substantial. The Finnish sniper is most likely dead. If he survived, he will not fight again. Not with those injuries. The hunt concludes, not with my bullet, but concluded nonetheless. He was worthy, skillful, dedicated. I respect that. War makes enemies of men who might have been friends. He protected his people. I served mine. Now it ends.
May he rest. If gods exist, if soldiers earn rest. Grigory doesn't know Alexei's name will haunt him. Doesn't know that in 2 years at Stalingrad, a Soviet shell will kill him. Doesn't know he'll die carrying a photograph torn from a Finnish newspaper. A blurry image of a farmer, a hunter, a ghost. Alexei Vertinen. The man he never confirmed killing. The opponent who earned his respect. But that's future. Unknown. Uncertain. Tonight, Grigory believes the ghost is dead. Believes the war in Kolar will finally shift. Believes the mathematics have changed. He's right about one thing. The ghost is gone. But not dead. Not quite. Not yet. March 13th, 1940. Day 104. Alexei Vertinen wakes. The transition is slow, painful, confusing. White ceiling. Antiseptic smell. Distant voices. Beeping machines. Hospital. He tries to speak. Cannot. His jaw. Remembers. The artillery. The fragment. The pain. Bandages cover his face. Heavy. Restricting. He breathes through his nose. Each breath painful. Each swallow agony. A nurse appears. Sees he's awake. Her eyes widen. She calls for a doctor. The doctor arrives. Older. Grey-haired. Exhausted. Private Vertinen. You're awake. Remarkable. We weren't certain you'd survive. The trauma was catastrophic. Alexei tries to ask questions. Cannot form words. Cannot move his jaw. Panic rises. The doctor sees it. Your jaw was destroyed. We've reconstructed what we could. Multiple surgeries, 7 days unconscious. The damage is permanent. You will not speak normally again. Possibly never. Eating will be difficult. But you're alive. Against all probability, you're alive. 7 days. Unconscious for 7 days. Alexei tries to process this. Failed. The morphine fog. The pain. The confusion. 7 days gone. The doctor continues. There's more news. The war ended this morning, March 13th. The Moscow Treaty was signed at dawn. Finland cedes territory, 10%, but remains independent, sovereign. The war is over, Private. You survived it. The war is over. 104 days, November 30th to March 13th. Alexei fought for 98 of those days, was unconscious for 6, woke the day peace came. Mathematics, timing, coincidence, meaningless. But noted, he's alive. The war is over. Finland survived. But at what cost? To him, to thousands, to everyone. A nurse brings paper and pen. Alexei's hands shake violently, but he can write. Barely. My family. The nurse smiles. Gentle, kind. They've been notified. Your wife is travelling here. Should arrive in 2 days. The roads are damaged. Travel is slow, but she's coming. She and your son. 2 days. Helena. Tuomas. Coming. Soon. He writes again. Baby. The nurse checks her notes. Your wife is 8 months pregnant, due in 2 weeks. The doctors advised against travel, but she insisted. Said her husband woke. Said she needed to see you. 8 months. The baby not born yet, due in 2 weeks. Alexei will meet his child, if he survives recovery. If complications don't kill him. If the mathematics allow. He writes one more question. My count. The nurse doesn't understand. Looks confused. The doctor does. Nods slowly. Your confirmed kill count stands at 505. Lieutenant Toivonen verified the records. Witnesses confirmed. 505 Soviet soldiers in 98 days, the highest in military history. You're being recommended for commendations, medals, recognition. 505. The number feels abstract, meaningless. 505 men who had families, who had futures, who died because Alexei was efficient, accurate, lethal. He doesn't feel pride. Feels only weight, the mathematics of death. But they threatened his family, threatened his home, threatened everything. He did what was necessary. Nothing more, nothing less. Alexei closes his eyes, sleeps. The morphine takes him. Dreams come. 505 faces, watching, waiting, accusing, forgiving, existing, haunting. He'll carry them forever. The ghosts he created. The price of survival. March 15th, 1940. Day 106. Helena arrives. Tuomas beside her. The boy has grown. Taller. Thinner. War ages children. Helena's belly is swollen. 8 months pregnant.
2 weeks from delivery, she travelled despite doctors' warnings, despite risk, because her husband woke, because he survived. They enter the hospital room, see Alexei, bandages covering most of his face. What's visible is swollen, discoloured, damaged. Helena's face remains composed, strong, but her eyes betray shock. This is not the man who left. This is someone else, broken, rebuilt, changed. Tumas freezes, stares, frightened. His father, unrecognizable, monstrous in bandages.
The boy's instinct is to flee, but Helena kneels, takes Tuomas's hand, whispers, "That's your Isa. He came back, like you asked. He came back." Tuomas looks at his mother, at the bandaged figure, at the hands visible outside the blankets, rough, scarred, but familiar. The boy approaches slowly, reaches out, touches Alexei's hand. "Isa, did you protect us?" Alexei nods, cannot speak, cannot explain, cannot tell his son about 505, about becoming invisible, about the cost.
He simply nods. "Yes, I protected you. With everything." Tuomas begins to cry. Relief, fear, love, confusion. 8 years old, carrying the weight of absence and return. Helena steps forward, embraces Alexei carefully, mindful of wounds, of pain, of fragility. "You came back," she whispers. "Changed, but back. That's enough." Alexei cries, silently. Tears soaking bandages. First tears since the war began. First release. First acknowledgement that he's still human beneath the ghost. They stay 3 hours. Talk. Helena talks. Tuomas talks. Alexei writes responses. Slow, difficult, but communication. Helena tells him about evacuation, about Viipuri, about waiting, about fear, about hope. Tuomas tells him about school, about friends, about missing his father, about being brave. Alexei listens, writes simple responses. "I missed you. I thought of you every day. I love you." Simple words, true words, the only words that matter. When they leave, Alexei is exhausted. But lighter. They know, they see, they accept. He doesn't have to hide anymore. March 28th, 1940. Helena gives birth, in the same hospital where Alexei recovers. Different ward, but close. The labour is long, difficult, but successful. A daughter, healthy, strong lungs, dark hair. Helena names her Aino, Finnish for the only one, the only daughter, the only child born during Alexei's recovery, the only baby he'll meet while still broken. Nurses bring the baby to Alexei's room, 2 days old, tiny, perfect. They place her carefully in his arms, mindful of his wounds, his weakness. Alexei looks at his daughter, this small human, this future, this reason for 505 deaths. She doesn't know him, doesn't know his face beneath bandages, knows only that these arms are gentle, these hands careful, this presence safe. Alexei cries again, silently, tears falling onto the baby's blanket. She squirms, makes small sounds. Lives. This is the mathematics that matters. Not the 505 dead, but the 3 living. Helena, Tuomas, Aino. The equation that balanced. He protected them, paid the price, became a ghost, killed without hesitation, survived impossibility. For this, for them, for these 3 humans who carry his blood and his future. Was it worth it? The question has no answer, only outcome. They live. He lives. That's all. The weeks pass. Surgeries continue. Reconstruction. Skin grafts. Attempts to restore function. The doctors do what they can. But the damage is permanent. Alexei will never speak normally, never eat solid foods easily, never look the same. The face he wore for 34 years is gone, replaced by scar tissue. Reconstruction. Evidence. May 3rd. Alexei is released. Returns to Viipuri with his family. Aino is 5 weeks old. Tuomas is 8. Helena is exhausted but strong. They find temporary housing, a small apartment. The farm in Rautjärvi is accessible now. The territory Finland ceded didn't include their land, but the house is damaged, needs repair. They'll return when Alexei is stronger. June 1940. Alexei returns to Rautjärvi, brings his family. The land is scarred, artillery craters, burned trees, shell fragments in the soil, but repairable. The house partially stands, enough to rebuild.
They begin again. Farming, living, surviving. The rifle is cleaned, oiled, stored in a locked cabinet. Never fired again. The war is over. The ghost is retired. The farmer returns. Life continues. Seasons pass. Alexei learns to communicate through writing, through gestures, through silence. Helena learns to read him, to understand, to translate for others. Tuomas grows, asks questions sometimes, about the war, about the killing. Alexei writes brief answers. Necessary. Defense. Protection. Never glorifies, never explains fully. Some things cannot be explained, only experienced. 1948. Another son is born. Helena's third child. Alexei's third chance. They name him Zachary, after Corporal Zachary Leto, the young sniper killed by scope glint. First death Alexei witnessed. First lesson. The name is memorial. Remembrance. Acknowledgement that others died so Alexei could learn, could survive. 1953. Tuomas is 21, leaving for university. He asks his father one question. Final, direct. Isa, the 505.
Do you regret them? Alexei considers, writes carefully. I regret the necessity, not the action. They threatened you, our home, our future. I stopped them, that's all. War creates impossible choices. I made mine. You live because they died. I cannot regret that, but I cannot celebrate it either. It simply is. The mathematics of survival. Tuomas reads it. Understands. His father killed 505 men, and it destroyed something inside him, but saved something outside him. Family, future, life. The years accumulate. Alexei farms, raises children, loves his wife, exists quietly. The nightmares continue. 505 faces, but they become familiar, expected, part of existence. He never forgives himself, not for killing, that was necessary. He never forgives himself for being good at it, for perfecting death, for finding efficiency in horror. 1978. Soviet Union invites Finnish veterans to Moscow. Reconciliation. Alexei declines. Has nothing to say to them. 1995. Documentary crew finds him. Wants to film the legend. Alexei refuses. Writes, I am not a legend. I was a farmer who killed. Leave me to my ghosts. 2002. Alexei Virtanen is 96 years old. His body fails. Heart, lungs, the mathematics of age. His family gathers. Tuomas. I know. Zachary. 11 grandchildren. They surround his bed. Hospital again. Tuomas holds his father's hand. Isa. Last words. Alexei gestures for paper. Writes slowly. Final message. I killed 505 men to protect you. The ghosts haunted me every day. But you lived. That's the only number that matters. Remember me as a farmer, not a killer. He folds the paper, hands it to Tuomas, closes his eyes. 4 hours later, Alexei Virtanen dies, surrounded by family, surrounded by the living. The funeral is small, private, local, no military honors, just family, friends, neighbors. Tuomas speaks, reads his father's note, adds, My father never called himself White Death. He called himself a farmer who learned to be invisible. The killing haunted him. But he did it because we needed protection. He was a good man who did terrible things. He never forgave himself. We forgive him. We exist because of him. Alexei is buried in Rautjärvi, on his land. Simple stone, name, dates, nothing more. But the legacy spreads. 1941. Soviet sniper schools study the Virtanen method. Remove scopes in extreme cold. Prioritize invisibility. 1943. U.S. Marines adopt iron sight training. Pacific Theater preparation. 2007. Quantico. Instructors teach the principle. Match weapon to environment. Sometimes simplicity wins. The lesson endures. One farmer with iron sights changed warfare, not through technology, through understanding, through refusing doctrine when doctrine meant death. 2019. Kola River Memorial. Simple stone. Names of defenders. Alexei Virtanen among hundreds. Not elevated, just remembered. The river flows peacefully. No blood, no ghosts, just water and trees. But the lesson lives. One man, 505 kills. Iron sights and patience and love. The mathematics were brutal. The cost was everything. But his family lived. That's victory. The only victory that mattered. The White Death is gone. But the living remain. Growing, continuing, thriving. That's immortality. Not legend, but life. The harvest that mattered, final.